This is the men's room.
Forget it, man, and get with the countdown. Shake this square world and blast off for Kicksville. The trippers, the grasshoppers, the hip ones, all gathered in secrecy and flying high as a kite.
You're listening to the men's room with Miles and Thrill.
We say hello to our friends that jump on right now at the home of affordable living. That would be 98.5 KFOX, the South Bay's classic rock in lovely San Jose, California. And good morning to our listeners on 94.7 KZND, Alaska's rock alternative in beautiful Anchorage, Alaska. And our latest affiliate, that would be 97.9 CPR Rocks in lovely Biloxi, Mississippi. Welcome to the show, folks. Bad jokes on the way, Ted versus the FCC. And we've got emergency situations as we're talking our question, what was the emergency situation? If you didn't know, a big volcanic eruption on Hawaii. Nearly 1,500 people have fled the big island, been relocated, have not fled the island
itself. There's lava spewing from the street.
Yeah,
that's all you need to know.
And we've got a couple more stories, including a man who tried to save a rattlesnake from being run over. Our question, though, what was the emergency situation?
Mm-hmm. Hello, Brian. Welcome to the men's room. Hola.
All right. So,
hang on, Brian. I think he hung up.
Oh, did he?
Yeah.
Oh, man. All right. Well, whatever.
Yeah, I think he hung up. Yeah. Hello, Brian. Welcome to the men's room.
Hello, hola.
Hola.
All right. So, my story takes place way out in BFE, Spokane, Washington.
All right, man, we got you. Okay, you're back. Go ahead.
That's the right guy.
You can pick it back up. Go ahead.
Yeah.
All right, so you're out in the middle of nowhere in the cabin. Go ahead.
Yeah. So, I'm on this vacation with my now ex-wife's family, and they are all real heavy drinkers. I'm talking, we had like 10 30 racks, 10 steps of everything, and all kinds of wine you can think of.
So when you say you're camping, you're saying that you're just pulling up to a place, opening up the hatch on something, and kind of living out of there. You're not like hiking anywhere, right?
No. We were on a cabin on the lake.
Okay,
so,
beautiful. All right, gotcha.
Yeah, so this is the first full day that we're there, and I mean, I must have cracked the beer at like 8:30 in the morning. Like, we started early. So as the morning of heavy drinking continues, we all decide, hey, it's beautiful out. It was like July or whatever it was, so like 90 degrees. Let's go out on the boat. So all of us are pretty well already on our way to almost blacked out. Some of us are browning out as it begins, and it's only 11:30. So we go out into the middle of the lake, and it's a twin lake, so it's two lakes separated by a really small channel. And we're out in the middle of the one, and the standard issue, if you have to urinate, you just fall into the water, swim out a bit, do your business, come on back. So me and my now ex-wife decided, well, let's go for a swim, gonna go relieve ourselves. I'm out there just enjoying life. I'm pretty drunk. I'm still coherent, but I'm feeling real good. And we start to kind of get a little bit away from the boat. Now, I look at my ex-wife, and she's about 20 yards away from me, probably 30 yards away from the boat, and I just see her doing the whole head bob up and down.
Uh-oh.
What is she doing? And so, yeah, instantly I start to freak out because this does not look good, does not look natural. I swim over to her, and I just see eyes roll to the back of her head. She's not there. She's gone. So I go into immediate, like, I've never been a lifeguard, but I have watched some military surviving the cut stuff about paradivers. So I kind of knew that I needed to get her fully underneath of my body while swimming her back to the boat. Now, she's completely damaged. She's like, just dead weight at this point. She ain't helping at all. She's actually almost drowning me in the process. And I start to swim her back to the boat, and I'm waving at the guys on the boat like, hey, get in here. And they're like, come on, swim back. We're not going to come get you. And I just slam on the water with all that I can, scream as loud as I can. And they finally realized we had a situation on our hands. And I got her back to the boat. Her brother jumps in, helps me actually get her out of the water into the boat. And now, granted, this whole time, she's the quintessential, I've had too much to drink, and I'm blacked out wasted. So she's flopping all over the place. She's puking all over the place. And now, like I said, we're 2.5 hours out of service, cell phone service. And there's only one hospital that's about an hour and 15 minutes away. We get in that boat, and we fly probably 60, 70 miles. I don't even know how fast. The channel that we have to go through is only about 10 feet deep. You're only supposed to go about 10 miles an hour through this channel. We haul butt, go all the way back. We have an ambulance. Someone back at the house stood on top of that chair, made the one phone call that we needed. And so I guess moral of the story is I saved my now ex-wife's life by swimming her back to the boat.
What
if you had known then what you know now?
What exactly? What, if you don't mind? Why did you? What ended up happening with you guys?
With us separating?
Yeah.
Basically, kind of got married a little bit too young. Grew up and kind of went separate ways, and nothing.
That's fair. Normally when I always go back to the comedian George Lopez. To save somebody's life, you know what I'm saying? Like,
and then divorce them.
Right, exactly, for strange.
Hey, baby, can I get one of them kidneys, man? You know, like, my kidneys aren't so good, baby. You know, we've been married for a while. Hey, thank you for the kidney. I got a life in front of me, but I don't want to spend it with you.
What was the emergency situation? 844-999-OLA.
Gracias. Hello, Ethan. Welcome to the men's room.
Hello?
Hola!
Hey, fellas, how you doing?
We're not gonna
What?
What?
Hang on.
So what?
I didn't hear that one. Is that?
How's that?
It's a little bit splashy, but it doesn't sound as bad. Go ahead, keep coming.
All right, so for me, the emergency was I had gotten a job as a wildfire fighter right out of high school. And the big emergency was the biggest fire on Washington State record until the following year. Then that fire took the record.
What year was this, the one that you fought?
This was back in 2013.
Okay.
And by the time the crew I was a part of got sent out there, it had already been going for about a month, and it was only 10% contained.
Jeez.
So what are they asking you to do? They asking you to make sure that it doesn't go in a certain direction, I guess, or are you just, I guess it depends on the fire?
I was on a hand crew, so we were actually the guys right up against the fire, digging in the dirt to, basically control where it goes, how it moves, and in other words, just try and keep it away from the people.
How hot is it? Is it ridiculously hot?
Well, this is also the complex fire, the big ones like that, they're called complex fires, that I actually caught fire on.
Oh, damn. Well, I guess from your perspective, it's very hot.
That's got to suck.
Very, very, very hot.
When you're on fire.
How did you burst into flames?
Well, technically it wasn't me. It was my pack that had accidentally gotten soaked in gasoline for the chainsaw.
Oh, that is a bummer.
Yeah, that's...
Oh, yeah.
You couldn't have asked for a worse combination.
A small oversight. You're covered in gasoline
and fighting forest fires.
Oh, yeah.
Only you.
How long were you out there?
We were probably at the big fire for about a week. Then a thunderstorm rolled through and started up spot fires all over the region.
You said it started them up because of the wind?
Lightning, probably.
Oh, yeah, the lightning.
Huh, okay.
Yay!
Okay.
Yay!
So you really don't have an emergency situation. The entire situation was, in fact,
your job
one giant emergency situation.
Well, he caught on fire for a bit.
Right. How did you did you stop, drop, and roll?
No, I threw my pack. I ripped my pack off my back and threw it into where the area was already burning because I knew that I couldn't throw it back downhill because that would just start up more fire.
Did it have your personal items in there as well?
No, it was just my gear.
Okay. All right.
Okay. Damn, man. And how long were you out there total? Like, is it a couple of months, weeks, what?
We were only out there for about a week or two, and then a couple of crews came in from out of state and helped out.
I was going to say, I've got a buddy who his brother-in-law is a firefighter, and I want to say that he kept going out of California every year. You know, it was California, and to the point where they just said, the hell with it, we should just move to California. So they moved this year to go down there because most of his work was down there, 3 months at a time, 6 months at a time, that it just kept, I guess you guys move around a lot, right? As far as your job,
absolutely.
Where was the last fire that you fought?
My last fire was the same year. I got banged up pretty good doing that, saying I can't keep up with the work anymore.
Okay, and what did they put you in a hotel, or how does that work?
No, we had a big base camp at a local. We usually use like local schools and everything because they've got locker room showers that people can use and all
Yeah,
that.
but you can't drink in a school. You can drink in a hotel room.
Well, this is the middle of summer. The school was all shut down and everything.
Do they at least give you a high school, or do they give you the elementary school?
I believe it was Wenatchee Middle School that we were staying at.
The only reason I bring this up,
You'll
man,
know by the height of the urinal.
that is exactly it.
You will know by the height of the urinal.
My kids had a thing at the school last night, man. I had to take a leak, right? And you just forget about it. So I walk in, and I'm like, oh, you got to be kidding me, man.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I don't know.
Oh, it's okay. Here at our facility, we have a brand new, beautiful bathroom, and someone decided to walk into where you're normally supposed to sit down and just leave the seat down and just pee all over the seat, and then not flush it today because I had to go in there and drop one, And I walked in, I'm like, who is this guy who does not use the urinal, leaves the seat down and pisses all over it, doesn't flush and walks the F out? Like, we work with this individual. Who is this person? What was the emergency situation? 844-999-OLA. Hold the line. Yeah, we do have to take a break. More of your calls coming up. You are listening to the Men's Room Radio Network.
Welcome back to the Men's Room with Miles and Thrill.
Oklahoma man was out celebrating his 57th birthday when he came across a rattlesnake on the road, and he attempted to move it. Barry Lester was driving in his pickup truck with his relatives on their way to Walnut Creek on Sunday when he spotted the timber rattlesnake right there in the middle of the road in Osage County. Lester pulled over, approached the venomous reptile, and grabbed it behind its head, as he had done many times before over the years.
I'm going to save this here rattlesnake. I will be right back in the truck. Hang on.
The 57-year-old man was a former rodeo calf roper who had experience catching snakes and setting them loose near his property to help control rodent populations. This time, the young adult snake, measuring 42 inches in length, twisted its head and plunged its fangs into Lester's left hand. The man transferred the snake into his right hand, and the critter bit him a second time, according to his widow. Lester dumped the snake into an empty toolbox in the bed of his pickup truck and was rushed home to meet an ambulance his family had summoned. Lester was taken to the St. John Medical Center but passed away a short time later. Doctors told his widow that Lester died as a result of the rattlesnake bites, exasperated by his pre-existing heart condition. After Lester's death, the snake was removed from his vehicle in a pillowcase and was let into the wild, as Lester would have wanted, as which he was trying to do. They say that 8,000 people suffer snake bites across the U.S. each year, but fatalities are extremely rare. But he was just trying to get that snake off the road so a car wouldn't run over it, and lo and behold...
but in the end, the snake did what snakes do.
What was the
terrible,
emergency situation? Yeah.
Damn.
844-999-OLA.
Hello, Andrew. Welcome to the Men's Room.
Hola.
Hola.
How you guys doing?
Good, Andrew. How are you, man?
I'm doing great. Hey, so I've talked to you guys before, but this is sort of related. I'm a pilot in my day job.
Okay.
And one of my first jobs as a paid pilot was driving diver. I flew skydivers up to altitude and then kicked them out of my airplane.
All right.
So one of the standard qualities of these jump companies is they always have super cheap, old, dilapidated airplanes, and they always overload them, right?
Well, the skydivers, I think a worst-case scenario will jump. I mean, I get it.
Exactly. Yeah. So, instead of putting 4 people in these things, they put 7 people. And so it takes 40 minutes to get to 10,000 feet where they jump out. But I'd been flying for less than 2 years, and I got up to 9,000 feet with 6 people in the back of the plane, and the engine starts gargling like it's about to quit. Okay. And
don't feel like working.
Now, do you have an option to grab a parachute as well?
It's an FAA requirement that if the door is open if people are jumping out of the airplane, you have to wear a backup chute as a pilot.
So
I have a
awesome.
parachute.
All right, so you're okay. Like, if the S hits the fan,
Right,
like,
I'm
you're
out.
like, everyone else jump but me. I'm going to try to land this bad boy. You can just say that, F it, I'm out, and jump too?
Exactly.
Sweet. Okay,
It
that's
has
good
no
enough.
steering though, so if I glide into a power line, I'm fried, man.
Oh, so it's just a free falling chute then is what you're saying.
Exactly.
All right.
So it starts gargling, and the second it starts gargling, it's like I slammed on the brakes in a car, right? The plane slows down immediately, and like almost immediately it stalls, and we drop. So
Now, what position are you dropping in, right? Are you still dropping laterally, or does it start taking a nosedive?
well, in these planes, as the wing stalls, it automatically the nose starts going down. So it's really easy to recover, but it's extremely scary, right?
Yes.
None of the divers are buckled in, so they all hit the ceiling, and they're all like floating around in the back.
Oh, I hate it when that gravity thing goes away.
Yeah.
That's gotta suck.
So nose down, get some speed, open the door. They all jump out, and there's like a checklist in these small airplanes that you go through as the engine fails. But like,
Okay, but wait,
this is the first time an engine is failed, and I'm freaking out, man.
But about how long do you have to go through the checklist? I mean, at the point
Before you can jump out
Right.
on your own.
Yeah, or smash into the ground.
The good news is that for all of these skydiving operations, it's really close to the airport that you take off from. So if I was like
You can
over the
crash
mountains,
there.
you're screwed.
Okay.
But I could see the runway; it's right down there. And I mean, now that the plane is empty, I probably have 20 minutes to get down, to glide down from 9,000 feet.
Even with both engines gone or one engine gone.
Yeah. These things, you can go about 60 miles an hour, and the plane still flies. It's a pretty small airplane.
Now, can you see all of the parachutes open from all the skydivers that were in the jump? I mean, can you see that they're clear and all that?
Yeah,
Or do you not care?
Yeah. I mean, normally I could see them, and in fact, lots of pilots will tell you that they beat the divers down, like they nosedive down to get back into the airport. But yeah, I mean, I was shaking, like my radio still worked, but I was like, I was losing my mind up there, man. I was 24, so.
Well, let me ask you this, though, man. After that happens,
Sorry?
right? After that happens, and you successfully make your landing, obviously, since we're talking to you. But the next time you go up in a plane, are you more nervous, or do you feel more confident knowing that you can survive that?
I guess I'll never have to experience that again. Like, the chances of me going through engine failure are like 0.
Did you land? Land the plane with the engine out, or were you able to start it back up once?
No, the engine was off.
The entire time.
The
So
airplane was 20 years old, and the propeller was still. I landed it dead. Like,
I'm hoping a 20-year-old plane
to
still
push it off
works.
the runway.
Yeah.
So it's like a Prius.
20 years in that long. That's nuts. Did you ever have to, as a requirement to wear a parachute, did you ever have to actually jump out of a plane? Did you do it?
No, hell no.
So you still haven't done that yet?
No, I never will. I like staying in the airplane.
Yeah, I don't blame you. Me too. Me too.
Oh, you got to do it, man.
Oh, yeah. I'll do it on the last day of my life, if that's how it comes to it.
Very possibly.
Right, exactly.
That's what makes it exciting. You might
Steve
be
said
right.
this would be fun, but this is Southwest. What was the emergency situation? 844-999-OLA.
Hello. Oh, damn it. Hello, Katie. Welcome to the men's room.
Hola.
Hola.
So this is the closest thing I've come to seeing a vehicle crash death situation. I was driving my way home on Broadway in Everett, no surprise, and it was super dark out, pouring down rain, and all of a sudden I see a backpack and a bunch of stuff scattered across the road. So I pull over, and mind you, my boyfriend's 2 cars ahead of me, and he saw nothing. I look over to my right. This chick is laying in the middle of the road, pouring down rain, dark out, can't tell what happened. This car stopped, so I instinctively just run over to her, and I call the police, and she is just begging for her life. I have no idea who this person is or what had happened. The car that was stopped, there was an elder gentleman. He didn't say whether he was the one that hit her or not, but he looked like he was in shock. And I ended up staying with her until the ambulance got there. And once the ambulance got there, I let them take over. And I actually got to sit there and hold the umbrella over the ambulance.
You make that sound like something I want to do. I got to hold the umbrella
like a caddy
over a trauma victim.
You know, a caddy stands out in the fairway and holds the umbrella over the guy waiting to take a shot. It's like that. With the name is going instead of the beer cart girl.
Trying to help.
Yeah, of course.
No, we got.
No, we're just joking. But was she okay?
I was just,
Did you find out?
I was more in shock, if anything, because I've never seen anybody that close to death by a vehicle before. And like I said, I have no idea who this chick was.
Was there any outward physical injuries? Could you see anything wrong with her visibly? As you held the umbrella over her to keep her dry?
That was the hard part, was because it was raining and it was dark out. I couldn't visibly see any injuries. I think she had some, blood running from her head, but her hair was wet. Okay. And so I couldn't really see any actual, blood. But there was no bones poking out. It wasn't, gory.
The problem is that, too, it's hard to get follow-up to find out if she's okay.
Actually, small world, I go to this gas station, and the gas station attendant's son is working there, and he drives for an EMT or fire something. He does some kind of helping out with the...
Right. He's a good guy.
Yeah. So he tells me that he actually got a call to that situation. He was a tow truck driver. That's what it was. He got a call to that situation to tow the man's car, even though obviously he was innocent. It was just some old guy driving home, and she walked out in front of him. He didn't see her. But anywho, I ran into him, and he said, I got called for that situation, found out that she ended up going to Harborview, but she did survive.
Okay. Well, that's good news. It's a good thing that you held that umbrella.
See, I thought you were going to say, I saw her on the side of the road, and I stole her backpack. Don't let any water into the wounds.
No, I was more in shock, if anything, and then come to find out that there had been a call to the police prior to this about the girl, that she had maybe been intoxicated of sorts, and someone had reported her wandering around.
I was going to say that's 5 lanes or so, right? Isn't it?
No, this part of Broadway is only 2 lanes.
Oh, okay.
It's right around Everett Mall area.
Okay.
You still got to run.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, that's the whole thing.
What was the emergency situation? 844-999-OLA.
I've seen one dude get hit by a car, and this guy's name is Willis, but Willis at the time was way into the heroin, okay? And Willis was maybe 5'4", but good guy, but just strung out on heroin all the time. We're trying to cross the street. The bar had closed. We're going over to a friend's house who lived close. Everyone bolts across the street because we can see the headlights from the one car that's coming down the road, right? And it was a good distance away, but you still jog because of your survival instinct. Well, Willis, I don't know if he wasn't jogging or what his deal was, but when we turn around, because we see the car is now basically where he should be, so we kind of turn around, and before he can say, hey, Willis, this car hits him, man, and I mean, he just shoots forward. He doesn't roll up on the hood, he just goes forward. So they slammed on the brakes. Yeah, yeah. This poor lady. Anyway, so she slams into Willis. Willis goes down the street. I know it's not funny. It's just the point of, we're like, oh my God, Willis got hit by a car. So we go running down there, and it's almost like maybe the movie was The Ring, or it's like a zombie where it looks like the body's broken and it's laying on the ground, and then suddenly it just sits up, right? So Willis looks crumpled, and we're like, oh, my God, we're running down there, man. And he just sits up like, what the F just happened? We're like, hey, man, you just got hit by a car. That bitch hit me. We're like, not exactly, but come on. And then the next word out of his mouth, this is the only part we laugh at. Where are they at for my shoes? She knocked him out of his shoes. They're like another 40 feet in front of him. And I don't know why we couldn't stop laughing. But the next day, everyone, we crashed out on the sofa. Willis does not even remember that this happened. He can't believe his side is killing him. His ribs hurt. He's asking what happened. And everyone says, Willis, you got hit by a car. And he thinks we're completely full of S. He's like, no, seriously, man. Willis, you got hit by a car. He did not believe it. He eventually found out
when he realized his ribs were broken.
Yeah, he didn't believe it.
What was the emergency situation? 844-999-OLA.
Hello, Aaron. Welcome to the men's room.
Hola!
Hola!
How you guys doing?
We're doing good, Aaron. How are you, man?
I'm doing all right.
Well, good.
What was your emergency?
Sweet. So, a couple of years ago, it was before I had my car, so I had to ride my bike everywhere, and I'm riding home from work, right?
Okay.
And I'm going down this hill, and to this day, I still don't even know what happened, because, everything was going fine, and then the next thing I know, the concrete's, 2 feet from my face. And when I hit, I guess my bike flipped over me. It was, 30 feet in front of me and stuff, and I'm laying on the ground, just kind of like grunting and moaning because of all the pain and everything. And what was really funny is it was right outside of this apartment complex. And this lady asked if I was okay, and I was like, no, call an ambulance. She never called anybody. And I'm laying there, and after a couple minutes, I'm like, all right, dude, you're not a bitch. You can handle this, right? And I'm like, okay, got to assess the damage. I thought maybe I had a broken neck. So I started wiggling my toes. I'm like, okay, I can move my toes. I'm hoping that's a good sign. And then I'm like, all right, I'm like moving my tongue around in my mouth, like all my teeth are there. I don't taste any blood. And then I sit up and I take my helmet off and I look up and there's like this street light above me, but I can't see anything in like the upper left-hand side of my left eye. And I like put my hand over it and then I can see. When I move my hand, I don't see it again. I'm like, great. My eyebrow's hanging off my face. So I keep
I hate it when that happens.
Oh, yeah, it's horrible. And I keep, like, trying to stick it on back to my face, but it keeps flopping down. But I take my hand and, like, smash it into it, and then it kind of sticks.
It finally sticks.
It's your eyebrow back.
It finally sticks back on the forehead. How fortunate.
Yep.
You should not be on a bike.
Great. What?
Did you end up going to the hospital, I hope, to get your eyebrow put back on?
I ended up going to the hospital. I tried to stand up, and then I fell back down. And then I stood up, and then I fell down again. And then I stood up a third time, and I made it 2 steps, and I fell down. I'm like, okay, obviously I can't walk. So I, like, crawl over onto the sidewalk, and I was...
Is no one helping you?
It happened on my birthday, right?
No, wait.
So, like,
you said it's your birthday?
It happened on my birthday.
Oh, happy birthday.
Yeah. Yeah, it was great. So I tried to call my niece because I was heading over to her place because, it was my birthday. We were going to get drunk and everything, but she's not answering. And I'm like, okay. And I'm like, I'm really messed up. I can't think clearly at all. And I'm struggling trying to use my phone to call for help.
Is there traffic going by? I mean, like you're outside of an apartment complex. Are there cars going by?
In the middle of the night. So this was like at 12:15 at night. Okay. So like there was nobody. But eventually this cab driver came by, and she saw, my face is all covered in blood and stuff, so she stops, and she takes my phone and calls an ambulance and everything, and they show up, and then my niece is there because she finally shows up, and they're putting me onto the stretcher and stuff. I'm like, wait, put me down for a second. They're like, what is it? And I hand my phone to my niece. I'm like, take a picture. I want to put this on Facebook.
Oh, of course. Yeah. Why not? I mean, hey, that's the moment.
Well, yeah.
So 7 years from now, you can remember it.
Yeah, and oh man, it was like I'm the kind of person like if I get hurt, I'm like screw it, just put duct tape on and I'm good. And I was like, no, I need medical assistance. I'm not okay.
How many stitches?
You sound like
have?
a guy that may have foregone medical assistance a few times.
Oh yeah, most definitely.
How many stitches in your eye?
I don't know how many stitches I had, but it was horrible because I have this huge thing about having my eyes touched, and I see this lady like suturing me up, and it was freaking horrible. They gave me a bunch of CAT scans to make sure my brain was okay. Luckily, I didn't have any fractures in my skull.
Or nothing new.
Honestly, if I wasn't wearing a helmet, I'd probably be dead right now.
What is your thing about touching your eyes from? Do you have any idea psychologically?
I just don't want my eyes touched.
Okay.
It's horrible. They shouldn't have touched.
Maybe it's the Three Stooges, man. That's all.
Don't touch my eyes. Got one rule. If we're going to be roommates.
Right. Okay, man.
I don't think I
won't touch your eye. But now that you brought it up, I just want to touch your eye.
It's kind of weird, right?
That would have crossed my mind. Now I want to touch that guy's eyes now.
Aaron hates when he touches eyes.
No, I want to touch your eyes.
Coming up, the bad jokes. You can email us the bad jokes to the men's room at mensroomlive.com. Also send them to us on Twitter at Men's Room Live. Bad jokes on the way with the drunk at charge, Ryan Castle. Our question, what was the emergency situation? More of your calls coming up. You are listening to the Men's Room Radio Network.
This is the Men's Room with Miles and Thrill.
A taxi driver has been mauled to death by a bear after he stopped to take a selfie with the animal in India. It is true. The man was driving guests home from a wedding in the eastern province on Wednesday when he spotted the bear by the roadside with his passengers waiting in the back of the car. Mm-hmm. The man went to try and take a picture with the animal, which in fact was also wounded. But the bear managed to grab him and pull him to the ground where he was mauled to death, according to the onlookers who could do nothing inside the car. Newspapers said the bear was attempting to drink from a pond when Mr. Batara approached it, despite warnings from everyone around him.
Yeah.
While taking the picture, he slipped. before being grabbed. Video taken by shocked onlookers show one person trying to save Mr. Batara from the animal, but to no avail. They can be seen inching down a slope to where the animal is sitting with Mr. Batara at its feet and trying to hit it with a stick. At another point, someone seems to throw something at the bear. That only enrages the bear further. And as Mr. Batara tries to climb to his feet, the predator takes several powerful swipes at the back of his head and neck. Forestry officials said they were called, but by the time they arrived, he was already a goner. Mm-hmm. The bear had to be tranquilized in order for Mr. Batara's body to be retrieved. It was unclear what happened to the animal after that, but I think we know the end of that. Right. Not clear exactly what species the bear belongs to from the footage.
Doesn't matter.
But it's probably one of 3 of India's indigenous bears. The Himalayan black bear, the brown bear, and the sloth bear are the ones that are known to be in that area.
Yeah, man. I mean, and I feel bad for I don't feel bad for the guy based on the fact that he got out of the car. You're driving people wherever you're driving them, right? You decide, hey, I'm going to go get a selfie with an injured bear. Anyone would tell you it's a very bad idea.
Bad idea.
But the fact that when he had one chance to escape, maybe, because people are trying to help, someone throws something at the bear, and it makes, not only does it piss the bear off more, instead of going after the person that threw it, comes back after you.
Oh, yeah. Oh, he's totally pissed.
Poke me in the eye.
Nope.
With your ass.
No, thank you. Mm-hmm. What was the emergency situation? 844-999-OLA.
Hello, Tracy. Welcome to the men's room.
Hola, Pichola.
Hola.
So, this one was tough for me because I've had several emergency situations, and I had to choose between the story down in L.A. and the story about me saving a man's life, drunk driver. But I think I'm going to go with the one when I was down in Los Angeles. So I was 18 years old at the time, and my 34-year-old boyfriend and I were traveling from Washington and through California.
How did he pull that off?
Huh?
How did he pull that off? Was he suave or creepy?
It's super creepy now. I'm 30 now, and I look back on it, and I'm just like, ugh.
Yeah, it seems a little bit either creepy or amazing.
I think we all got it. Yeah. He's 34, you're 18, you're heading down to Cali.
All right.
Well, he is super creepy and also turned out to be really abusive, so I ended up having to leave him in the middle of the night, and it was a big ordeal.
I don't need a fainting couch for that. Yeah, we saw that one coming.
Yeah.
But what happened down in L.A.? What was your emergency?
Well, so we had been spending some time in Humboldt County, and then we decided that we were done up there. And we went down to Los Angeles, and so we had a lot of fun down there. We would usually spend the nights on Sunset Boulevard sitting on this, cement block that's between the Roxy and the Whiskey A Go-Go. I'm sure that some of you guys might know where I'm talking about.
I know about where you're at, sure.
Yeah, so we would sit there and just kind of laugh at all of the, super rich Beverly Hills people coming down the hill to go party, and then looking all nice and then stumbling out of the bar with one shoe, trying to stab each other with their stilettos and stuff. So this one night we're sitting there and we're doing our usual people watching and whatnot. And, traveling is basically just a nicer way of saying we were homeless and I was living out of my car.
Yeah, you're hanging out between the rocks, right? We get it, man. Yeah. Understood, sure.
Yeah, it was fun though. For the most part. But, so this one night we're sitting there, we're doing our usual people watching, and, we hear a commotion coming from the Roxy, and we're like, ooh, we're going to see a fight or something, So the bouncer, pushes this guy out of the Roxy, and there's this huge crowd of people, and they're all screaming at each other, and, the guy that he kicked out, his eyes were all wide, and, I noticed that he was sweating. Well, I overheard that he got kicked out for fighting. Well, I noticed that this guy was actually grabbing onto people And he had this like terrified look on his face. And so the person would push him away, and he'd go to the next person, and he'd grab onto him, and he'd look at him like really, really, just this extreme.
Find my EpiPen, right.
Extreme terror on his face. So the cops were called, and we all know that the LAPD is the best police department on the planet. I mean, they are just the greatest guys ever.
Well, they show up, and what happens?
You should hang out with them.
So what happened?
Well, so the cops get called. There were 4 of them, and they get to the scene, and they're like, really roughing this guy up and starting to kind of fight with him. And all of a sudden, he starts clutching his heart and his throat area. And
was the guy choking?
Sorry?
Was he choking?
No, he wasn't choking. It was like he couldn't breathe, and he was grabbing his chest.
Okay.
And unfortunately, I know enough about what an overdose looks like. I mean, the guy's pupils were like the size of dinner plates. He was sweating profusely. So it was clear that he was overdosing on something. But the police were so much in, like, let's F this guy up mode that they refused to even process that this guy...
We will never know if he lived or died.
I know. You know why? Because we're going to die before she answers the story, so we'll all be dead and we'll never know.
Hola! The shenanigans continue on the Men's Room Radio Network.